Hey guys, what's up? So today we're going to be talking about the film Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. I was lucky enough to go see the movie a couple days early. I saw it Monday night at 10 p.m. At my local AMC theater in IMAX because WB and IMAX were nice enough to give out fan screening tickets to people who went to the trailer event last April. So it was really cool that I was able to actually go and see the movie early. So props to IMAX and WB for actually doing that. That also takes a huge amount of guts to do, to let fans see the movie first. And, they're the first word of mouth that you get out there. So, props to you guys. Props for doing something different. And, thank you guys so much for letting people do that. It was an experience that I personally will never forget. But now on to the actual film. So, this movie's been anticipated forever. I've been wanting to see this movie since I was in diapers. I love Batman, I love Superman, I love the Justice League, and the fact that we're actually getting that is still crazy to me. I thought that with the Avengers, and we have that. We're so deep into the Marvel Cinematic Universe now, and it's doing great. It's chugging along. I love it. But with DC, they're more far behind. They only had Man of Steel, and now this movie. And a lot of people didn't like Man of Steel whatsoever. Personally, I actually really enjoyed Man of Steel. But a lot of people, as I said, did not. And they're wondering if this is a step up or a step down or about the same. And personally, I don't know. I am mixed about this movie. I enjoyed it, but I did not hate it. It is a good movie with great and horrible things in it. Let's start out with the great first. So Ben Affleck as Batman is the definitive film version of Batman. I can promise you. He is Batman. No questions asked. He is, haunted. He is, depressed. But he's also a badass. And he can, rip through you like a hot knife through butter. He is like a tank. He'll destroy anything in his path that is in his way. But I'll also get into that in my negatives, because there's an element of the character that I actually do not like whatsoever. Another positive, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman is incredible. She didn't have a lot to say, but when she did speak, she actually did a very good job. She has the accent. And she's also a complete and utter crowd pleaser. When she came on screen, everybody in my theater was applauding and cheering, and it was awesome because this is the first time we've seen Wonder Woman, and she absolutely nailed it. She was great fighting, she was great acting, and I'm really excited to see the Wonder Woman movie now because of her. As I said, the fighting, the choreography for this movie is incredible. The special effects are pretty good, the visual effects are pretty good. Everything pretty much is top notch because this is a really pretty and beautiful movie. I saw it in IMAX. And if you can see it in IMAX, I highly recommend it because you see so much that you wouldn't see regularly. Some specific scenes that I really liked, without going into spoilers, were the nightmare scene, which, has been in the trailers where Batman's looking all Mad Maxy. And the part right after that where, I'm not going to say anything, but let's just say it's coming. They actually end this movie on a very gutsy and hardcore ending, and then they kind of take it back, and it's like, okay, well, I see why they're doing it, but at the same time, why even cram it in there with all this other stuff in this movie that, why would you even cram it in there if it's not even going to mean anything, So now we get to talk about the negatives of this film, which unfortunately there are quite a few that I have huge issue with. One, I was talking about Batman earlier. He kills people. Batman, in my eyes, doesn't kill. You can pull back to comic issues where he does. The first time he shows up in a comic book, he kills somebody. But the character has been added layers, and he's been added backstory, and he's been rebooted so many times. And the thing about the character himself is that he's tortured by death. He hates death. He fears it. That's his, fear. But he's not, he doesn't kill. He just doesn't cold-bloodedly kill someone. It's not like he's fighting with people and they subsequently die. No, they'll aim a gun at him. He'll pull the gun around to shoot him back. He takes knives and just jabs them into people. He blows people up. He tears through people with the Batmobile. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude, you're not... That's the only problem I have with Batman, honestly, because Batman himself, Ben Affleck, is an incredible Batman. He fights like a champ, but he just kills people, and I'm not a fan of it. I really hope in the next movie they actually talk about his justice system and his morals, because why is he killing gangsters and mobsters when the Joker is still alive and stuff like that? You think that Joker would be the first on the hit list if that's the case. So the biggest issue I actually have with this film is the editing and the pacing. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. And I don't know whose fault this is, but the editor needs to be fired. I mean that in the most literal way possible, because this movie jumps around like it is on crack. It is like, one moment you're fighting, you see a fight scene, Batman's taking out like a room full of dudes. And then the next moment you're on the farm with Ma Kent and Clark, and they're just talking about stuff. Then you're in the, the Capitol building, and then after that, then you're in the Batcave for no reason. And all these stories, there's all these subplots in the movie that all come together, but you can't focus on them because it's so sporadic and so scattered that you don't remember what happens, and it's absolutely terrible. And again, as I said, this movie has an ending that is really heartfelt and meaningful. I cried at the end. I cried during the movie. There are some really emotional beats in this movie that would have been saved, if it weren't for the editing. And it isn't just for the 15 or 20 minutes. It's for the whole first two acts of the film. And it is absolutely god-awful. And I really wish that they would have, pulled back on that. They've had so long to make this movie. They delayed it a year. They should have tightened up on the stuff in pre-production, not post. So I understand this movie has a lot of universe building to do. You have to set up for the Justice League, and you have to set up for, other spin-off movies, but did you really need to include them in the way you did? The guy who shows up twice, I'm not going to say who, the character that shows up 2 times, I actually had no problem with his first cameo at all. Or how they show him in the second time. But the way they do it with all 3 of these other characters that they show is so cheesy, and it was so shoehorned in, and it was so lazy. It was like, really, man? You couldn't come up with anything else, because it seems like they had a great idea, but a lot got cut out. As I said, a lot of this movie, it seems like it's been on the cutting room floor. This movie's been through a lot. But, I feel like in the future, they're going to have a lot of learning, and they're going to have a lot of work to do. The next DC movie to come out is Suicide Squad, and that is already getting rave reviews. So, and the sequel's already in progress. So, at this point, I think Suicide Squad will be better than Batman vs. Superman and Man of Steel. But I personally do believe that it is because Zack Snyder is not the director. DC needs to be a little more safe because they are so far behind compared to Marvel. Overall, I'm going to give this movie a B. As of right now, it could go down. Maybe it will go up a little bit after the second viewing, which I am attending on Thursday night. I am seeing the movie again, and then I'm going to make a spoilers review that will be out Friday, hopefully. And yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you guys, see the movie. I really actually do recommend that you see the movie. Whether you are not wanting to see it, or you do, or even if you see it for a matinee, see it. It is worth it. Even if you aren't a fan of superheroes, see it, because this is the 2 titans together. The fight itself is incredible. Matinee, as I said, if you're not a fan, do it. If you're a fan, be there opening night, support it. Because, it's not the best movie in the world, but it also could have been way worse. And a lot of people were really happy with this movie, me included. I'm actually, fairly, happy with this movie. And I do think that with enough work and enough, learning experience, DC could really become a juggernaut. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter at Adam Chasm, on Instagram at Adam Chasm, and yeah, I will talk to you guys later, and I hope you guys have an incredible day. Team Batman for the win. See you guys later.